Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are here again on Hidden Fact Podcast, and we have distinguished High Chief Barrister Sir Willie Amadi. Um, he's a man that I would like to talk about, but I think he's a man who already has a voice of his own. He has a voice nationally. So he's a voice, and we are really happy to have him here because I know this is going to be quite an insightful conversation today. And I believe that there will be an eye opening stuffs to discuss on today's episode. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, please, of course, you're a big name. So I will just start with who is William Martin?
Well, Willie Amadi is that young boy that grew up in Owerri, was born into the Amadi family of Owerri on November 30th, 1962. Went to primary school in Owerri here, tertiary school. Secondary school, went to university, went to Holborn Law School in UK, then University of Calabar, and also a candidate of LLM, Imo State University. Well, I had worked in various places. In 1982, I worked in Nigerian Breweries PLC as the district sales representative for River State. In fact, I was and still remain the youngest sales rep Nigerian Breweries employed.
Oh, wow.
Till date, I was barely 20 years old. And it was a tug of war between me, my dad, and my mother. My late uncle, Chief Imejak, who was secretary to Aba local government, had a friend, Mr. T.H. Diman, who was the brewery manager, and he was leaving for Holland. So he told him that he wanted to give him a gift. Then Nigerian brewery sales reps was the hottest job at that moment, because the breweries, Nigerian breweries, Guinness, they made so many billionaires with good money, genuine money. All the distributors of Star Gulda, Maltina, and all those stuffs in your locality then, if you do a random check now, you know that they are the very rich people. So I had just left school and got an admission to University of California, did my TOEFL, passed it. Then the vogue was going to America to read. And one evening, my uncle came to our house and told my dad that his friend had approached him and told him that he wanted me to work as a sales rep. Then it was a money thing, at that point you could get about 2,000 naira in 2 months. Money that can come from tips, public relation issues that we are giving to Nigerian breweries for sales and marketing. It was a lot of money. Then a brand new 505 was like 5,000.
Wow.
And here is a young man at the age of 20 who just left secondary school.
Making 2,000.
It's, So my dad called me, and my uncle told me that he would like me to work in Nigerian breweries. And I said no. So I'd already gotten admission. Some of my friends had left.
Okay.
And they'll call you from America and tell you how America is and all those things. So my mind was already fixated. I said no. My dad asked my uncle to go that he was going to, discuss with me. So he went through my mom. My mom came to me and said that I should try it. I said, okay, I will do it under one condition. I'll work there for 2 years and I'll continue with my education. So we agreed, and the next time was in my uncle's house at the GRA Aba. So the white man came, he had about 3 months to live. So they introduced me to him. He said he was told I was not excited about the job. I said, yes. He said, why? I said, because my mind is on going to America to study. And that I told my parents that I will only do that job for 2 years. He said, fine, that's fine by him. So I put in my application with about 3,000 applicants for that job. And there were about 6 different interviews. Driving tests, medical tests, oral interview, aptitude tests, so many. The first, we came to about 1,000. The third interview, about 300 and something.
Wow.
It was drastic. At the end of it, only 3 of us were employed. Myself and Davido's father-in-law, Roland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then Abutu from Benue State. He's late. May so rest in peace. So we started. And then I had decided to program myself, really. And all the monies I was getting, I tried to pay for my admission. But this time around, in UK, my cousin, Dr. Austin Obichire, is a surgeon, one of the best surgeons on Harley Street, UK. We went to London. I was born in London. The parents were there. So my first leave, I spent it in London. And when I got there, I told him I would like to stay in London and read when I leave MBA, Nigerian Breweries. So he said, well, London, you have to get your A level. That is standard before you get into the university. So we went to Holborn Law School. So I saw the school. I liked it. I took the form. I applied. Then the second year, I paid for the school fees, unknown to my parents. I got admission. So I told them that I would leave. It was another round of argument because there was money. There was really money coming in, little money, but it meant a whole thing. For a young man who just left secondary school. So at that point, I built, now it's a duplex, at Anoku Street, 21 Anoku Street. Furnished it, and then left for UK.
How old were you at that time?
I was 20. I just turned 20. That was 1982.
Okay.
The process started at 19, so I turned 20. And at 22, I'd left. Went into Holborn, did my A level, that was in 1984, and came out the best result in that set. Now, my father died 2 weeks to my exam. I had to come back to Nigeria. The story is because my passport was the Home Office in Croydon, and they called me a day to the burial of my dad, my auntie, Mrs. Ifacho. Of course, my mother didn't have access. Then you only go to Nitel to pay and then wait for them to connect you. So she sneaked out and told came and called. It was my uncle that was in the house because I was still in school. I hadn't come back. So when I came back, I ate. My uncle said I should come. When I finish, I should come downstairs. So he said there's something he wants to tell me, but he doesn't know if I'm a man. I said, well, if I'm not a man, I'm a woman. So either he's a man or a woman.
Maybe he's asking if you are man enough.
Yes. But I said, if what you're going to tell me will make me a woman, then don't tell me. The landline rang again. He was that my auntie because he had told her that I'll come back from work, from school about 6, 7. So when the phone rang, he asked me to excuse him. So I went upstairs again. They talked. And then he now called me. I came down. He handed over the phone. There was no mobile phone. So he said, Willie, take him. I said, I'm fine, Auntie Philly. This one you're calling me. He said, Neck, I'm gwage. Ị ga-anata Owerri tomorrow.
Just like that?
Yeah. This was about 7 in the evening. And my father was to be buried the next day. Ị ga-anata Owerri tomorrow. I said, what happened? I said, your father is so down. And no na-akwa afa gị, no na-akwa afa gị. He said, but auntie, it's 7 o'clock here, which is about 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock Nigerian time. He said, Biko. I said, what of my mom? I said, no, but nataba. So the phone now went off. It wasn't concluded.
Did you feel anyhow?
Yeah, I felt somehow because it was an unusual call. It was quite unusual.
One question actually came to my mind was, why was the burial quick?
Yeah, he had died earlier on.
Okay.
They didn't want to tell me. One of my uncles said that they shouldn't tell me because my exam was coming up.
Okay.
They knew about my program and that it was going to disturb me. But it didn't really make sense because I'm the first son of the family.
Okay.
Of 6 boys and 3 girls.
Oh, wow. And just your mom?
Yeah. So when the line cut, 9 in those days, once he cut, he's cut.
He's cut.
So my uncle now said, nah, dimpa na lanya magwage. Asha paganguna. And that will heal here tomorrow. I'm sure when you get my father tomorrow without me. Yes, I won't hang you now. What do we do? I'm sure my passport, with Home Office at Croydon. Because he submitted as a student. So, Nick Chukwe is an engineer. He married an Irish lady, very vast. So he put up a call. The emergency line, told them what happened. Then they asked him to call Croydon. He called Croydon, the Home Office, the Passport Control Center. They said, unfortunately, they can't do anything but that they should call Scotland Yard at the airport at Heathrow and gave them the number. So we called Scotland Yard. He called Scotland Yard and told him. Scotland Yard said, well, that I can come to the airport, they will issue me a travel certificate. Okay. Between that 7 o'clock and 9:30, we were at Heathrow. Fortunately for me, I still have, when you come in, you have full ticket. So the other leg to Nigeria was still valid. So we got to...
You didn't need to buy another ticket.
No. So we got to Heathrow Airport, went to Scotland Yard office there. They issued us a travel certificate. I boarded about 11 something. When I got into Port Harcourt International Airport, the only airport this side, one of my friends who lives in Owerri but does airport, in fact, his house is across the road, that Jevnik area, Apollos. So he saw me and screamed, came and hugged me. It was at that point I realized that yes,
Something is really
something
wrong.
really happened. So he offered to take me to Owerri. Meanwhile, after that telephone conversation that cut, there was no
Other
other
means of
information whether
information.
I was coming, but my auntie had at least informed me.
Yes.
But I'm sure in their wildest world,
They never
they
thought
would
you
never
ever
believed
you be back.
that I'd be in Owerri the next day. So I got into the car hire, got into Owerri. When I got to Owerri, the ambulance had already backed into the compound to take the corpse of my dad for burial in our ancestral home at School Road here. When the car drove into my house and I came out, there was pandemonium. People ran away.
Huh?
Yeah.
They thought they'd seen a ghost.
They didn't believe it. And the decision to bring me back was between my mother and my auntie. Nobody knew, none of my uncles. Because my uncles didn't want me
To
be
come.
distracted or to come when they saw me. So when I came in, my mom was sitting down, usually, in one secluded
Yes.
side. So I saw my siblings, they're young. The honorable member representing Owerri Municipal now, Clinton Amadi, was just about 10 or 11 years old. So I gathered them. We went to where my mom was sitting. I had to stand up. Then we went to the sitting room where my dad was laid in state. We prayed, and then we proceeded to our central home for the burial and all those things. So it was just an issue that had remained a mystery to me. And after that burial, I went back. 5 days after that burial, I went back. And 2 days in UK, I started my exam, my A levels, in law and British constitutional law. So the guiding force that propelled me as a young man revolved on that experience. From that moment, I believe that everything is possible.
You became a man.
Yeah. I'm the first son, and I had to make sure my dad was buried in my absence. If he was buried in my absence,
it wouldn't have been a good one.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't have been complete.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for this background insight of your person. We would like to know, in politics, being a politician, is it all there is about you, or is there something else, like an address, something else that you do apart from being in the corridors of power?
Well, I came into politics in the year 2000. I'd finished my law school, worked with Rotimi William Chambers briefly,
Okay. and
then opened my law firm, Time Nominees Chambers. I started at 50 Awolowo Road, next to Double Four.
Yes.
Then from there, I got to a bigger place on Rebad Road by 1998. In fact, I moved in there in January 1998 after coming back from Christmas holidays. And I had got a brief. My law firm was company secretary to Microtech Computer Limited. I was introduced to that company by my neighbor. We are young men, we lived together in Antony Village, a block of 4 flats. I was on the top floor then. My friend Sadiq Abubakar was on the, you know, ground floor. And the way the Northerners live, they lived together, about 3 or 4 of them. One is Honorable Segi Koki, is in the House of Reps now. So we live there. So one morning he said, "Barrister, do you do company law?" I said, "Of course, now I'm a just legal practitioner. I do it." He said, "Okay, my boss said I should look for an Igbo lawyer. So can we see him this evening when you have finished work? When we come back, he comes out by 8 o'clock. He sleeps all day and come out and work from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. and he goes." And who was this? Salisu Buhari, the former speaker. So I said, yeah. So when we came back, we got to Apapa. And after about 30 minutes, 1 hour, he called us in. So immediately I came in and said, "Barrister, how are you?" I said, "I'm fine." He said, Abu, is that the lawyer?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Yeah, we'll work with him. He's a young man. I like him. So what are you going to charge us?" So I smiled. I said, "Well, in the first place, my law firm will be retained by your company. And I'll be doing the legal services. Because I have my law firm, I can't work." So we agreed on that. He called in the managing director, Sani, may so rest in peace. He came in and we worked out details. And then I was engaged. So when they have briefs, everything, they bring it to the law firm, handle it, and then return it. So within that year, Salisu ran for election into the House of Reps and won, and ran election as the speaker and won. Then petitions came up. I don't know, it was a hectic period. Underage, false certificates and all those things. So we had to battle that. I went back to Chirotomi Williams. I briefed him. He took the brief. We did all we can. But at the end of the day, he lost that position. So I had to come back to Lagos and continued with my law firm. Now, in December 1999, I came back to Owerri. Our 8th grade, we were doing end of the year party. So one of my 8th grade members had just won the House of Assembly election and was representing Owerri Municipal. So when I saw him, I told him that I would like to run for the chairmanship of Owerri. Then the election was coming up. That was on that Chico. So we talked and we met later on, and he agreed to adopt me as his preferred candidate. Of course, he had the structure. So I worked on that structure and spent money, won the primaries, but somehow for political exigency, it was given to somebody. And I was asked to take that person around the municipal on campaigns, which I did. And, it was an ISEC conducted election. It wasn't INEC, so it was easy, for us to get in there. But because of the way I behaved after the primaries, I worked with the party, I worked with the candidate. I spent money. Of course, I had money more than any of the aspirants then. And I had name recognition. I was more educated than any of them. So the governor, Achikodema, gave me a plot of land at Civic Center, which is the most expensive part of Imo State, the land there. So in recognition of my loyalty, then loyalty to party was quite non-negotiable. Party was supreme. There was a lot of discipline in the party. So he gave it to me, but I sold the land The land is next to Tony Chuku, Chief Tony Chuku. It's still not developed up till now. I sold the land. It was about 23 million
At the time.
at that time. That was in 2006, 2005, 2006. So I took the money and bought a flat in London.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought a flat in London.
And the flat is still there.
It's still there. And it's one of the piece of cake that I enjoy every day. The rent there is about £2,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
So when the pounds was going to
Oh,
2,000, I was getting
jubilating.
about 4,000, about 4 million naira a month.
That's a good money.
So yeah, so I remain eternally grateful to that former governor Chief Achiku Demo, because he was like a father. Yeah, something happened, but he needed to also treat me like a father.
Okay.
So I thank him for that. So that was how I joined politics. Now, another point in my life that kept me moving is after that election. When you fail election, primaries or general election, you'll be deserted. Usually by 6 a.m. every morning, my house, people will fill up everywhere, But when I lost that election, for the first 3 days, I didn't see anybody.
Politics.
And then, this mobile phone came out in 2000. I bought my line for 24,000 at Kenebu somewhere there. A blue something, It wasn't ringing again, So, and my mom would bring food to our house help. Later on, they will return the food as it is. I lost appetite. So, when my mom discovered I wasn't eating for 2 days running, she came upstairs and asked me, why are you not eating? I started weeping. So she held me. She prayed for me and told me that I should never run for election again. But that I'll be having appointment
From time to time.
From time to time until I say I don't want. And that they will come for me. And as I speak,
That's how it is.
what she has said has happened from that date till today.
Actually, from the questions I wanted to ask you, as a politician that is quite popular and known, why are you not contesting?
Yeah.
Why are you not coming out for anything? So I guess this explains...
This is the reason. And from 2005, I was appointed zonal chairman of PDP. 2007, Hakim came into power and appointed me special advisor, Sanitation and Transport, and also pioneer general manager ENTRACO. I didn't know Hakim from Adam. I didn't work for his party PPA. But he called me on phone.
I guess this brings me to another question where, one of the reasons that made you very popular in Imo State.
Yeah.
And that is attributed to destroying of people's property.
No, not destroying. Not destroying.
Okay.
Realignment of master plan.
Okay, realignment. Well, you know where you are. So it's good that you already put me in order.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's right.
So how do you cope with the fact that people were very angry that you realigned?
Okay, let me deviate from the appointment. From then, Hakim after Hakim, Meke Hedion had deputy speaker, appointed me special advisor, strategy and planning 2015. Then Senator Sam Dadi,
Yes.
through the Senate President Bukola Saraki, appointed me the Federal Commissioner, Public Complaints Commissioner, and Ombudsman representing Imo State.
Which year was this?
This was in 2018.
Okay.
2018 to 2021.
Okay.
Then during my tenure, when I was coming out, Chief Opus of Imo invited me and they appointed me chief technical advisor to the government on environment. So you can see from then till just been on appointment. And I didn't call
For any of this.
for any of them. I didn't tell Hakim. I didn't tell Ihedion. I didn't tell Sam Daddy. I didn't tell Uzodemma. This for appointment. They called me. Now, coming back to your question on how I
Realigned.
Hmm?
Well, some people called it destroyed. So
No, you see,
you put me.
you cannot make an omelette without cracking an egg.
Yes.
It's one fact. And when we came into government, Owerri, where you are now, is my village.
Okay.
The entire Ikenebu layout, including ITC, is owned by my village. In fact, the lease of the entire Ikenebu layout of 99 years had expired. We are in court, and of course, the fact speaks for itself. And in a couple of months or year, you'll see certain demands. I was born here, I grew up here. So this is my village. I know the character of Owerri. I know the human and vehicular traffic. There was a time in Owerri when a car drives, we'll tell you the owner of the car. There were few people here. Very few people here. Owerri was just a civil service city, very serene and quite sweet.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
it was. So, and when Hakim invited me, he told me in his Burma retreat country home that he was told that I am the only Owerri man who can restore the master plan. Perhaps judging from my exploits as a zonal chairman PDP, politics has a way of making you either popular or notorious, and that people say that I have style. If you come to my place, the way things are arranged and all those things, so that he believed that I would do it. I said, well, I can do it. So he offered me that appointment. And when I was running for my election, my cardinal campaign was restoring the master plan of Owerri. Because I grew up here and I saw Owerri deteriorating. Shanties started springing up on major streets and roads everywhere. So during my campaign for mayoral seat, I said I will restore the dignity of Owerri. Under Mbakwe, Owerri with Sulu was the cleanest state capital. And I said I was going to achieve that. So I had a mindset
For that.
as a chairmanship aspirant in the year 2000. Then in 2007, when Hakim came into power and said that it was like a meeting of the mind, I said, well, this is the time now for me to do what I would have done as a council chairman.
Okay.
So I took up the job, did my layout, and started the work. The first thing was to remove all the shanties. And of course, you see, one thing about life is that those people who placed those shanties knew that what they are doing is wrong. What they did was wrong. But some people in the council, the civil servants, some of these people will give them tip, and they say, okay, from here to here, put here a container.
Mm.
You know, when we were removing the containers, the shanties along Imsu, from Kato roundabout to Okigwe roundabout, Imsu gate,
Mm.
there was a container we removed, and there was a foam. The container was divided into two. The front was for all these, these women that sell tom-tom, tissue, provision. Then half of the container, the foam that was there, we recovered about 8 pesos
Pistols.
inside the foam.
Oh, wow.
It was when we demolished it that they were carrying the foam.
The guns
Started falling. I know thick, American revolvers.
Wow.
They were used by cultists and maybe robbers. So we first and foremost removed all those container shanties everywhere in the municipal. Then we started beautification. I started planting trees and grasses and creating gardens. If you look at Table Road, if you are coming, you see our trees. If you go to Yaradua, if you are going to New Owerri, a lot of places, if the succeeding administration, then the Rochas administration, allowed all those my trees, Owerri would have looked more of a garden. And we are about to plant 2 million trees. The entire Owerri capital territory, not Owerri municipal. Capital territory is going to Naze, Emekuku, Irete, after Obinze, those areas. I had a mindset of what RFI did in Abuja and Calabar. I was prepared to turn Owerri into that. I had visited RFI when I was appointed, and he told me that this job I'm going to do will create image problems for me, but I should take it as a sacrifice, and that after some time that people will praise me.
And did they?
And yes, when I left, Owerri became dirty. Under my charge, Owerri, Imo State won the cleanest state capital for 3 consecutive years, back to back. Then what you see now, you will see there was discipline, there was sanity on the roads.
I think I would say we commend you for that.
Yeah, I commend myself too.
So do you think with time, do you think there is still hope for Imo to become better?
Oh, sure, it will. But this time around, if you ask me to do that job now, I'll probably do it differently.
Okay.
There were a few mistakes
that was made
that
there.
I made.
What was that?
Because enforcement procedure, the boys that were on the street were very rough and hostile. They didn't engage
the
public. Yes, we do announcements, radio, motorized announcement, we had vehicles. But then at the point of enforcement, you have to apply human empathy. Some of them didn't do that. And I was removed from that public complaint. I didn't create a bureau where people could lodge complaint and I can now investigate. I was quite young when I was about 40-something then, so there was a lot of energy. But if we have to do it now, we'll probably achieve the same results, but with less,
Okay, back to Imo. As we are talking about Imo, I would want to know, have you supported any Imo person for governorship? If not, when will you?
I've always supported. I'm from Imo, and I must support.
I know we're a person.
Well, yeah. In 2019 election, I supported Emeka Edion. Funny enough and curiously, I didn't support the incumbent governor at that time. But when I left public complaint as a federal commissioner, he invited me to work with him as a chief technical advisor on environment.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time, we believed that it was the turn of Owerri zone.
Okay.
You know, although had like 20 years running, Okigwe had 4
Mm-hmm.
in this dispensation and 4 under Mbakwe. Owerri have never had a 4, never. Even a combination of Ihedioha and then when at best will give you 2 years. Because when I was there for a year and 3 months, then Ihedioha about 7 months.
Okay.
So there is need
Okay.
to try to balance that equity.
Okay. Away from politics, I would like to ask, as a lawyer, you understand that APs commenced the flight to London, and you understand what has been happening, that other flights have brought down their prices even way below APs. As a learned person, do you think that this was done? Do you think that as a lawyer that there is a law that should query them for charging us more? If not for airpiece, we wouldn't have known that this thing would have gone down. So do you think there is a law that will hold them culpable, for this, what I would say, extortion? Right.
Well, I first and foremost, the aviation industry is a highly regulated industry, highly regulated
But,
worldwide.
but if it's highly regulated, why were we being charged
No.
so much?
What I'm saying regulated is that there are rules and laws that are non-negotiable. They are non-negotiable. Government will not interfere. Nobody will interfere in certain areas. For example, the fares. Any airline can charge £10,000 from Lagos to London. The other one can charge £1,000. But whichever,
yeah.
you must comply with those rules, particularly the safety standard. You must pay your landing charges, your parking charges, your ground staff, everything you must comply. So however you make up the money, it's entirely your own business.
But we understand that before now, while we were paying more, some other countries that even fly longer hours than Nigeria were actually paying less than we were paying. So I'm trying to correlate.
Yeah.
Why would we be charged much way higher? Like if
Okay,
airpiece,
let me help you.
If airpiece didn't come and brought down their money to reasonable amount for Nigerians to use, these people wouldn't have come down to what they are coming down, trying to put airpiece out of business. So you don't think that Nigerian government should do something about it?
Of course they will, but there again, the foreign airlines operate in Nigeria. How do they repatriate their money back to their country in their own currency? The rate of dollar in Nigeria cannot make it possible for them to stay afloat. They can't repatriate their money. The exchange rate in Nigeria is outrageous. So they cannot. So they must charge, taking all those things into cognizance. So that's why their fares are usually higher, because they buy from our local exchange rate, which was fraudulently manipulated by central bank and the system. For Allen is an indigenous career. He had a running battle with the British authority, British Airways, in using Heathrow. And they didn't want to give him landing opportunities in Heathrow because the London Lagos route is a very lucrative and important route to British Airways because it's a direct flight.
Mm-hmm.
Only British Airways goes on direct flight.
Mm-hmm.
And for Allen APs to come on direct, they resisted it. They even had to stop him from using Heathrow and they sent him to Gatwick. So he's flying from Lagos to Gatwick. I'm flying to Gatwick, this week to UK.
Okay.
And
Did you take earpiece?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I did. Yeah. Alan is a great man.
Yes, he is.
He's a great man. Yeah.
Just one question before you continue. Let's assume the charge Allen is given is 800,000 for the flight.
Yeah.
I guess with return ticket, and another flight that is not Nigerian or indigenous flight is charging 600,000. Which one would you buy?
Alan, of course. But I have to help him to grow. What they are doing, they are fighting back and they are counting their losses. That's what they're doing. For Allen, he'll be flying to Gatwick.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be patronizing him.
Mm-hmm.
I've flown British Airways. I've flown KLM. I've flown all those airlines since 1982. Yeah, but business class, first class. And so I've flown British Airways for more than 5 years on first class. Sometimes I paid £3,000. Even my son. And there is absolutely nothing different. The aircraft are the same. The only thing that seems to be different is the crew. A white woman or man serving you.
And then the black.
That's all. To me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Business class, first class is first class anyway.
Okay, you've flown airpiece to. Is this the first
This
time?
is the first time. It started on 30th.
Yes.
So I'm flying it this week.
Okay.
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 And it's a beautiful. They have brand new. Airpiece has brand new aircraft, and he doesn't do wait lease.
Okay.
He purchases all his aircraft.
Wow, that's amazing.
All these British Airways, KLM, Lufthansa, they're all on wait lease.
But he buys outright.
Outright.
So, what advice would you give Nigerians about airpiece today?
Let us take our own. That young man, he has done much.
Yes.
His interventionist approach is what endeared him to me.
Okay.
When there is crisis anywhere in the world, he will send his aircraft to go, students everywhere, to bring them back at his own personal cost. He's done that severally.
Yes.
Even with our sports, the footballers.
I think he did something with Israel sometime.
Yes, even Russia or something, when there was crisis, Ukraine, he brought all of them back.
One last topic on airpiece. There was a lot of issue about the Ishiago uniform that the air hostess were wearing during flight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Perfect arrangement.
And what do you think about the people, the critics?
Whatever you do in life, there must be a different opinion.
Okay.
Even twins disagree.
Okay.
There is absolutely nothing wrong in that Ishiago.
Yes.
When I spoke to Alan, he said, Ishiago, fine. The next one, you might see the Yoruba dressing.
Yes.
The next one, you see Awasa.
Oh, wow.
The next one,
amazing.
you see Efik. The next one, you see Orobo.
Oh, wow.
This is Nigerian culture. And for God's sake,
must be represented.
we must. What is suit?
Oh, yeah.
This suit, what is it? We must showcase. And when you put on those clothes, they're excited. When they say they're excited,
Okay.
I don't see anything wrong with it, honestly.
Okay. Rounded off gradually,
Yeah.
we would like to know a little bit about your marital life, challenges, and things about, the marriage.
I didn't want to marry when I was about 18 years. When I was 18, I was telling myself I wasn't going to marry.
At all.
Yeah. But that if I will marry, that's what I told my mom, that I'll
Mhm.
marry a white girl.
Oh, wow.
And when I got to UK, all my friends, my girlfriends were white girls. My cousin Jude,
Mm-hmm.
we had the same agreement.
Mm-hmm.
He married a white girl with two daughters. One is a doctor, one is in a medical school.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, when I came into Nigeria, I was kidnapped to marry a black.
Kidnapped.
Yeah. Psychologically and emotionally kidnapped by one of our mutual friends, Sylvia. Sylvia Kalonta. She's in UK now. So they lived opposite me during my law school.
Mm-hmm.
She lived opposite me. We shared the same landlady.
Okay.
So my wife was her girlfriend. So they visited me.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you know. But then I told my wife that I'm an Owerri man. And I like women a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I told her we are going to write certain things.
More like agreement.
Yes. She agreed. And girls, they will say, well, they will
Yes.
agree to anything, but when the thing start, they'll say that they thought you would have changed. So I will put down a few things.
Mm.
I said, well, I'm only going to have only 2 kids.
Mm.
Not more than 2. If you have 1, fine.
Mm.
Then I said, after 21 years of marriage, we'll decide whether to continue.
You told her that?
Yeah. We wrote it down. I have the paper. In fact, when she started complaining at a point, I brought her the paper. I showed the senior brother.
You think this way of life? Do you think you did it for yourself? Is it something like something about you, or something that you enjoy by yourself?
Well, it's a premonition. A premonition as well as instinct.
Okay. Do you think this
I
helps
like,
you with your long life?
yeah, I like serenity. I go to bed by 7 and I wake by 1:32. I'll have my breakfast. I'll take my shower and then I go into the library till morning.
1
And
a.m.
I've done
You
this
mean 1
for
a.m.
Yeah, I've done this for the past 34 years.
Oh, wow.
As I live here now, if I get to the house, I will swim and then I go to bed. By 1:32, my body clock will wake me. Nothing will make me to sleep again.
Mm.
So even in my home,
Mm.
my wife realized this. We don't share the same bedroom.
You don't share the same bedroom?
I've never shared the same bedroom with her. Yeah.
So how do you live?
But everything happens.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's unity in diversity.
Okay.
Because if I wake up by 1 o'clock and she's sleeping, I can't turn on the lights.
Okay.
I can't watch TV.
All right.
It was an issue when we started, but these things were clearly laid out.
Mm-hmm. And how did she, over time,
She adjusted.
She adjusted, even with the extra women by the side.
Well, sometimes also distance. She's in Canada with the children. They're all Canadian citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this.
So we visit. So there's a lot of free time to play.
and you love to play.
Yeah. I don't pretend about it.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. So, because you said it, would like to know what is the most difficult time in terms of, women? What is the most challenging issue that you've had?
In-laws, father-in-law, mother-in-law, they are the greatest challenge. You see, when a woman comes into marriage, she wants to own you. She wants to take you in as her own,
Okay.
not out of hatred or any ulterior motive, but out of love. And for your mother, the jealousy of affection will not let her go. This is my son. This is my brother. You have sisters who rise against your wife. These things happen. And conversely, your wife, who is trying to appropriate you, would oppose her brother's wife from appropriating her brother. So you have to place a balance, a precarious balancing. And you must have the willpower.
I would say, would you, it is always assumed that politicians womanize like women a whole lot. You think it is something that is general with politicians, or do you feel that this is some sort of ease up for them to, free up their mind and, try to think straight?
Anybody who has unregulated time can use it for anything. Not only politicians.
Okay.
A politician, by virtue of his occupation, because that's what occupies him, you ask me if I have a second address. I'm a lawyer in politics.
Definitely.
If there's military coup now, my law firm is there. My wig and gown is there, everything is there. And it still runs. Whether in politics or not, my law firm is still running. But when you get into a vocation that gives you time unregulated by your wife, you have freedom to do anything. And that's why women resist their husband joining politics. But you come back by 11, 12, 1 a.m., you are coming back from political meeting. Your wife becomes helpless. And if you are lucky, you are succeeding, you are getting money is coming, and she's taking care of things, good car, everything. She won't complain, she will accept it as the will of God. But if you are not succeeding, there's wahala.
If you are not succeeding and then still doing
and then you don't come back home.
Okay, let's talk about your kids. You have two boys,
two boys and a girl.
Two boys and a girl. With who you are, let's say, are they married?
No.
None of them are married.
The oldest is 26.
Okay, so let's say somebody wants to come and marry them and then brings the laws that you gave to your wife to your daughter. And your daughter brings you those laws and say, look at what this man is giving me. What would be your response?
I will ask her, what do you want? What's your opinion about that? If you say it's okay, I say fine.
We would like to know your own opinion.
I won't have any opinion because that's not my business. She has her life to live. The marriage is for them.
But you also are meant to tell them. But you also are meant to protect her.
You tell them what you think
is right.
Is right.
And what you think is right.
And then what you think is right is what you think will work for you.
Okay.
What you think is right may not work for you.
Okay.
It might work for the other person.
Okay.
Now, for you, you have to look at what will work for you. Forget about what any other person thinks about it.
Okay.
Forget about what your dad wants or your mom wants.
Okay.
Yes, they won't give you a bad advice. You know, in those days, you go and uproot a girl. This is your wife.
Arrange marriage.
No, it's your wife.
Okay.
This is your husband. and they'll start. Somewhere along the line, they will crash.
Yes.
The girl comes, the boy comes, say, Daddy, this is the person I want. Are you sure? Yes. You bless them. As a matter of fact, you cannot even control the fallout in a marriage. You, who is married, cannot.
Yes.
Not to talk of your father. We should allow people live their life. I'm a free spirit. I might sound weird, but I will never bother you on what you want to do, so long as it's not illegal. If you want to marry, fine. If you don't want to marry, I won't force you to marry.
Okay. Um, as a person, what are the misconceptions about you that people believe or see that is not true? Something, this is a hidden fact. And of course, the name can tell you what this thing is. It's a place where you can be able to tell somebody, this is what you think of me, but this is not me. So, what are the misconceptions that people have about you that is not true?
No, I've never told anybody. I don't defend myself. Whatever impression you want to have of me, under any circumstance, is entirely your business. Completely. Even my parents could not influence me when I left a very lucrative employment at the age of 22.
Okay.
Your presence means absolutely nothing to my life and what I want to do.
You think this advice is something you would like to give everyone?
Listen, let me tell you, people pontificate and live their life for other people. You don't live your life for other people. Your life is your life. So long as you are not committing an offense, you are not doing something that is against the law, and I have created my own democracy. Willie Amadi, I created my own democracy. And it makes me extremely happy. And every 24 hours, I check how many hours I was happy. If I was happy for 16 hours yesterday, I'll try to make it 18. And I don't ever allow anything to worry me. Anything that happens, it has happened. What you should do is to rise above it. If you start getting worried, you are paying a debt you don't owe.
Wow.
Because that worry can never solve that problem.
True. True.
And when you lose things, God might be blessing you by allowing you to lose things than giving you something. You lose the election. You lost your car. You lost this, you lost that. And you are brooding. It might be God's blessing.
Yes.
But people think that when you get, God gives you something, you have gained. No, He can remove something for you to gain.
Beautiful. Thank you, Honorable Sir Willie Amadi. We really appreciate you. One last question before we round up. Have you had any reason to have had any scandal to your name?
Of course, variously. Variously. But I'm still who I am.
Yeah.
I'm still Willie Amadi.
Okay, so let's not go into that detail.
Yeah.
Yes, let's not go into that detail. I really appreciate you for coming, and you are a name that is always resounding in this part of the world and beyond. And I really, we are really honored to have you in our midst. and have you open up this much, which we actually didn't know that you would.
Yeah.
And this shows the kind of man you are. Like, from the beginning, when we started this conversation, I said, not many people are scared. Not many people are strong enough to come and really relate what's inside of them, to the public. And I've always said this. I've always said that this platform will be a platform where every Imolite and beyond Imolite will wait for the people who matters to come and speak their mind so that the people will see them for who they are. And we really appreciate you for coming in today. So, in we would like to ask if there's anything that you feel, that you would want the public to know, in the political arena, before we round up.
Well, I want to thank you for the kind words, and I'm sure, having listened to me for the past 1 hour, some of your opinion about me have changed.
Definitely it has.
That's why I don't bother about what you think about me until you start seeing me.
Yes.
On the political arena, by 2027, the governor will be handing over to an Imo light from Owerri zone
How sure
under
are
the
you?
Charter of Equity.
Okay.
And we are appealing to Imo lights to make it work. It's working in Abia, it's working in Enugu State, it's working in Anambra, and it's working in Ebonyi. Why can't it work in Imo? If it works, there'll be peace and tranquility.
Definitely.
There'll be happiness. A senatorial zone going for 20, 24 years, when the other senatorial zone has gone for 4 years, and then the third one has not gone, it doesn't make for good
Definitely it doesn't.
brotherhood.
Yes.
But I think something will give it. Yeah, definitely. So that we'll have peace and there'll be more progress. And then finally, people get scared when you mention about death. I have my tomb. I've done my tomb
You've done
next
your
to my
tomb.
swimming pool.
Oh wow.
That was when I was 58. And my burial rites will be very simple.
You already know it.
I've listed it out. I've discussed it with my family. If I leave this place and die between here and my house, I'll be buried between today and tomorrow. My tomb is there. Put me inside my swimming pool for 10 minutes without any clothing. Take me from there, put me in my tomb. There are hymns. I have a chapel. My tomb is at the center of the chapel. There are hymns that the family members around at that particular time will sing for 1 hour. Cover the slab, and everybody will leave. And nobody who is not a member of the family should come for any condolence to my place. You go, after 6 months, there'll be a 2 days party non-stop to celebrate my
life on earth.
Life and times. And joke. I told my family, all this stress, putting people condolence, your wife will stay like this. People, that's not rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I'll be buried the same way I came out from my mother's womb. No ring, no pant, nothing. By my immediate family. No outsider. And no condolence. I told the bishop, Anglican community, what the diocese. Now, whatever I do for the church, I do it. But all those processes, I don't believe in them. I'll go back the same way I came out. I've done my will. I've deposited it at the High Court registry here. FCMB trustees and my executors with two other persons. If I die, the burial rights, as I agreed, it's on video, the family meeting. If you deviate from it, everything I have in that will go to charity. So reading the will after 6 months, when you do the party, after the party, the will be read. If I give you my house in London, you take. If I give you the one in Owerri, you take. But if you don't comply with my death wish, that is the first paragraph of the will. The second one is that everything I owe should go to charity. And I listed the homes. So that is to ensure compliance. Because human beings, like you now start thinking of what people will say. Emotion. Don't do that. He said it then, but this is culture. You alter my arrangement. This is the way I want to be buried. I don't care about your culture. So they will comply because they know that if they don't, they will lose the entire thing I owe.
Definitely.
So the interest in those things will make them to comply. Not because they love me, but at that time they must start thinking otherwise. Don't mind that Willie. I hope we can borrow.
Wow, quite insightful. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Thank you, viewers. We really appreciate the time. Okay, this is mind-blowing. This is really mind-blowing and eye-opening. And thank you for coming around, and thank you for the time that you have given us. We thank you all.
Yeah, lots of words.
I'm lost of words.
Yeah, very weak.
This last part.
Don't worry.
This last part is too deep.
Life is a candle in the wind.
This last part is actually deep. It brought me to think about life.
No, how much is life? Tell me.
It's priceless.
Do you know the magic of waking up? We're all going to bed this night. If you have issues, if you are one of those people that get bothered with little issue and you don't sleep, you take something and sleep, a sedative and sleep. Is there anything you would take to wake?
No.
How do you wake?
You just wake.
So that is life for Willie Amadi.
Okay. 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 I'm actually lost of words. Thank you very much for being with us on today's segment on Hidden Fact with Honorable High Chief Sir Willie Amadi.
Not sir, not a sir.
Okay, you're not a
I
sir.
rejected to be a sir.
Why did you reject?
No, that lifestyle would disturb my
personality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disturb my.
So, High Chief Barrister Willie Amadi.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming around. This segment is quite an eye-opening one, And I believe that you're going to enjoy every bit of it from the beginning to the end of it all. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next segment. Thank you.